What is up, you guys? Welcome to the collective. My name is Furman, and in this video we are going to be going semi in-depth when it comes to the ASUS ROG Ally X. But before we talk about that, don't forget to like this video. Share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content just like this. Alright, let's get into it. So guys, when I tell you I had a scathing, super disappointing, disgusting wait experience when it comes to this console, or this PC, I guess you'd probably just call it a PC. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. This thing was supposed to get here, I don't know, probably 3 to 4 weeks ago. So I went out and bought it. You know, I bought it on the Best Buy app, which was cool, but I made the mistake of ordering it and having it shipped to store. You know, I wanted to ship it to store because, not that it's ever happened to me, but you know, porch thieves are a thing, and I didn't want something to happen to it. So I'm like, you know what, this is expensive, like it's $800. So I didn't want to go in there and have to worry about like, oh no, I gotta get back home because they decided to deliver it when I wasn't home. So nightmare. So I went this way, which was a gigantic mistake. Yeah, literally I bought it and it came super late. So first off, it sold out like as I was buying it, even though they said that they had it in stock, but I don't know what happened. I guess they didn't pull it in time or whatever, but it sold out, which was super lame. And then after that, I ended up having to wait 2 weeks for it to get here, and then the day it was supposed to get here, it was delayed. I don't know what happened, but literally I was on the app speaking to customer service every single day. Like every day I was on there, what's going on, can I get some updates? And they just kept giving me the runaround. They kept telling me the same exact thing. So nightmare fuel. I was so mad, but luckily it did finally come in. It finally came in, and it was Friday, I believe, Friday of last week. So we got it, and that's why we're reviewing it now, thank goodness. And you know, I got a couple things to mention about this thing. I am super excited about it, and I do really like it, but there are some issues with it, some issues that, you know, not necessarily a huge fan of. So obviously you guys have been watching the unboxing footage. You know, I thought that would be a great time while I was explaining this Best Buy situation to show you guys that. And honestly, as far as the unboxing goes, it was pretty simple. You know, it's not super complicated. The box basically had the console, it had the charger, and it had like a couple of booklets and manuals and stuff like that. So super simple, not anything complicated. It was really easy, really simple. Although I will say I did not like the plastic wrap because it kept getting stuck on the sticks. That was super lame. Not a fan of that, but you know, whatever. You guys didn't come here for me to talk about removing plastic film, right? Now the setup part of this thing was extremely painful. And I promise this is not a comparison video. I'm purely just trying to talk about how the experience was of setting it up and playing with it and using it for a couple hours or a couple days now at this point. It was a nightmare. So I always thought that the Steam Deck was pretty complicated, although not really too complicated, just because it was really a PC. But man, this thing makes the Steam Deck look like a freaking Nintendo Switch from how complicated it was. There was so much stuff on it, and like the setup was insane. The setup literally took like 2 hours, and it was just so many menus, so much like you gotta log in and you have to use your Google account or whatever. You have to use all that stuff. You have to get it done. Then once you get it done, you finally boot up, or actually no, it starts downloading the update for the X. So it's downloading the update, and after the update is done, then you get to boot into the thing. You know, you're on the desktop menu at this point. So right there, you start downloading all sorts of files. I mean, it is like craziness. Yeah, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go to this thing called the Armory Crate, which is essentially where you control all of the stuff when it comes to the ROG Ally. And there was a million updates on that thing, so you update them all, but they weren't updating for some reason. Like sometimes they would update, sometimes I'd have to exit out of it completely and update them. And then there was updates on the PC side of things, so there was a ton of those. And the same thing, you'd update some of them, and then some of them wouldn't update until you restarted it. So then you'd restart it and log back in, and then update some more of them. And I ended up having to do this like 3 or 4 times. So this was extremely annoying. Like this was not fun. Little caveat, remember guys, I am a console gamer, so like this kind of stuff frustrates me just because I understand, you know, the PC side of things, you get more freedom, but it is a little more complex and more complicated, so you do have to have a little bit more of a big brain. But yeah, the setup was super annoying, and I also didn't like the fact that you couldn't use the buttons to type on the keyboard for some reason. Like, I don't understand why I didn't just do that automatically, so you ended up having to use the touchscreen, and I don't like touching the screen. Like, even if it's a touchscreen, I don't like doing that, so that was annoying. Not a fan of that. So yeah, the updates were unbelievable. I honestly think that there needs to be a way to streamline this thing. It was just too much, guys, way too much. Alright, I think that about does it for all of like the negative things, you know, the things that I really did not enjoy about that. Everything else is just kind of uphill from here, so hopefully you guys are still watching the video. Once you get in and you start actually playing the games, oh, this is a little caveat too that I wanted to mention, but the black on this thing looks so much better. Just wanted to turn on the RGB. But yeah, the black, the white, the original Ally X, or the original Ally, I wasn't really into it just because I didn't really like how it looked, mostly because I'm not a big fan of like the white consoles. So like, it's gonna get dirty, then once it gets dirty, it's gonna be like hard to make it look clean and new, and I don't like that, so I wasn't a big fan of this. But when I saw this one, and when I saw the fact that it was black, I loved it. So instantly I was like, man, I need to get this thing. And another thing, this is not the Ally X's fault, because they're not the only ones that are guilty of this, but bezels. The bezels are killing me. These bezels are a little bit bigger than the one on the Steam Deck, or the Steam Deck OLED. So I don't understand why we're still doing bezels. I mean, look at, like, my phone is literally like bezel-less. Like, this is nice. And since I'm used to using this all the time, I like and prefer screens that are less bezeled. So like, can we just not do that anymore? I would greatly appreciate it. You know, the Nintendo Switch did the same thing too, but the OLED screen is a lot less bezel-less, so I appreciate that. Now, this is going to be the main point, and the one reason I think why you buy this thing over the Steam Deck. Although this is not a comparison, I'm just saying, the games just kind of run better on it. And I'm talking about the big AAA games. I got a chance to play with it, and I got a chance to mess with it, and I've been playing a ton of games, and I've tried Call of Duty, I played Resident Evil 2, I played Doom Eternal, Forza Horizon, and these games, I mean, they just work. They work almost as good, if not just as good, as playing it on original hardware. I'm playing it on the actual console. It is just absolutely crazy. It is absolutely crazy that we're getting this level of performance, which is kind of sort of what was promised when the Steam Deck OLED came out. But the only issue with that is, like, you can't really run max settings on the Steam Deck OLED without it having like huge frame drops. And I've always thought that was super disappointing, because the reason why I like Nintendo so much is because they make the games look as best as physically possible most of the time, while, you know, having good frame rates, solid frame rates. Most of their games are like this, although they've been kind of, you know, faltering as of late. That is super lame, but you know, what can we do about that? Oh yeah, Switch 2. But yeah, I was actually super blown away when it comes to that. The games just look gorgeous and they run nice. I mean, I'll go in there on my Steam Deck and I will literally max out all the settings on Doom Eternal. Won't even run. I'll be getting like 12 frames per second. Lucky. Like, if I even get that. But on this beast, man, it just works so well. I didn't necessarily get a chance to get any emulators running on it yet. I just downloaded the Emu Deck, so I got that all set up. I just haven't gotten a chance to purchase some games and put them on there so I can try them out. So, you know, more on that at a later date. But all in all, like I do think that $800 is really expensive, especially because of the fact that it just does what the original did a little bit better, or good enough to make it so that you actually feel the difference, but not good enough for an upgrade, if that makes sense. I've been watching a lot of different YouTube videos of people that have both of them, and they've kind of been saying the same thing. It's not enough of a spec boost to make you want to go out there and buy the next one. But if you do want to get the next one, then just sell the old one. That way, you kind of offset the cost a little bit. I think the older ones are selling for like $500 now, so basically almost pays for half of the new one. So there is that. As far as comfort goes, I do kind of feel like this one is a little bit more comfortable than the Steam Deck, because it feels a little bit smaller. And see, I keep saying this is not a comparison, but man, it's hard to explain that without comparing something to it. And the Steam Deck is the best equivalent to that. Okay, it feels super comfortable. It feels great in your hands. It's kind of heavy, but not really. Like, it feels lighter than the Steam Deck, but it feels comfortable. It feels good in your hands. It feels like you could put a couple hours into this and not have to worry, not have to be like, oh man, I'm getting hand cramps and stuff like that. Heck, I even played like a match in Call of Duty. Like, I went online and played it, and that didn't work too well. I should probably drop, some of the settings on it, because I had a lot of frame dips, but we almost won, which is kind of crazy. It was like 5-6. So yeah, that's kind of nuts. Yeah, I'll be talking about it more in the next few weeks, hopefully, depending on how busy I am. But I do think this is an extremely cool console, an extremely cool device. And honestly, I will say it is a lot more catered to people that are more into PCs and stuff like that, because the setup is a little strenuous. It is kind of frustrating. From my perspective, it was maddening, but I'm more so into consoles that just kind of give you two settings. Do you want resolution or do you want frame rate? And that's kind of how I like things. But I do think this is awesome. I do think it is really awesome. Right, guys, that is all I have for today's video. And I did want to touch on something. If you guys saw my community post, I did post that I finally beat Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, or Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories. I finally beat it. So I will be coming out with a review on this thing. It'll probably be this Friday's video, but I'm super excited to talk about it. And I do think you will be genuinely surprised by the review I put out on it. So yeah, more on that Friday. All right, guys, and as always, do not forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content just like this. And we will see you guys on the next video. Peace. Technically I should beat Riku's version of Rechain of Memories, but I don't have it in me to do that right now. I literally put 45 hours, I think, into this game. It was either 40 or 45 hours, and this is a 20-hour game, so I don't even know how I managed to do that. I mean, yeah, I did end up grinding a lot. I did grind a good amount. I was like level 92 or something when I beat it. But oh my god, it's a fun game, but it is so tedious. So tedious. Yeah.